and welcome to Light for Life. If you are returning to our channel, thank you. We value and appreciate you. Our aim is to shine a bright light on your inner splendor and assist to connect you to your magnificence via what we intend to be enlightened sharing, potentially educational and hopefully entertaining information, as well as encouragement for new perspectives. If you are new here, you are most welcome. We do hope that you will find our content highly beneficial and enjoyable. I am Liz. I'm a Science of Mind practitioner and a teacher of various healing modalities applicable to all aspects of the self and this life.
And I am Lori. I am a holistic wellness researcher and educator. Welcome to Connections with Liss and Lori. We use the space to offer our perspective regarding multiple different topics that we certainly hope you find inspiring. Today, Liss and I are going to be exploring our perspectives regarding sovereignty. And as always, we like to try to somewhat define our topic for the day, so we have some kind of foundation or platform to get rolling with this topic. And in my opinion, sovereignty is an inherent power, so to speak, or our inherent authority that governs our lives in a way. But first, we have to remember and take responsibility for the fact that we do have that power and the fact that we do have that authority over ourselves and our lives inherently. It's not something that we've ever lost. It's not something that we ever have to regain. It's something we have to remember and reconnect with. And it's not control, so to speak. It's really got nothing to do with control. It's more tapping into that internal self, or perhaps even that higher self, and that act of remembering that part of ourself, that we are the boss. We are the boss of our life, of our reactions, of our responses. And in fact, it is our tool, would you say, that we can use to govern ourselves and to govern our lives and even to co-create our lives. Would you say tool, Liss?
It could be used as a tool, but I would say it's our highest truth. That's what I would say, because that is where sovereignty is coming from, is the highest aspect of the self. Right. So yes, it is absolutely all about our authority and recognizing that we have authority over our lives. And the way that I think it's best expressed is the reference to being the operant power in our lives.
Yeah.
And the first time I heard that, and once again, I can't remember where, but the first time I heard that, it had such a profound impact on me. It stuck with me ever since. If you think about programming, which we've discussed in previous episodes, being the operant power literally refers to being the one at the keyboard, the one doing all the typing. And so I love that expression. You know, if a button's going to get switched on, it's because I switched it on. And if a corner is going to get turned, it's because I'm choosing to turn it. So for me, it is about that internalized exercise of will. And that's the problem with not taking on the responsibility that you're talking about and actually externalizing it and giving power to other external things over us. Because then that's what we're not doing within, is being the operant power and exercising our will. So where is our free will if we're not exercising our will in sovereignty? So it is definitely an aspect of the highest, shall we say, version of ourselves. Because my will is literally my volition. It's the energetic law that moves me.
Yeah.
In absolutely every respect of my life. It is will that is going to cause me to energetically move. It is will that's going to cause me to mentally move. It's will that's going to cause me to emotionally move, psychically move, physically move. It's all an act of volition. And where's volition supposed to come from? If I am not in my power, exercising my will, recognizing that I am a sovereign being.
We are. And, you know, as you're talking, I'm thinking of how we come into this life as children. Everything is about our external world, right? But simultaneously, also, we're very self-absorbed. So when do we in our, you know, our human evolution, just as in our own lives, when do we transition from the external regulating us to bringing that back in? And is that a natural progression, or is that something we intentionally have to do? That we're no longer governed by everything that's around us, but rather, like you said, internally governed and internally moving from our place of will.
Because most things, Lori, I think it's both. I think it's a combination of both.
Yeah.
The first aspect of the child moving into adulthood is that natural process of maturation. It's that, you know, arriving at the age of consent. And these days, consent is used in very, very sexual terms, but consent is so much more than that.
Yeah.
Consent is reaching the age at which your agreement is required, your consent is required, your cooperation is required before anything can be done to you. And so that is the whole idea of physically and mentally and emotionally maturing into an adult. But then we don't necessarily complete that process. If we are in preconditioned programming or in wounding or have victim mindsets around certain things, we can feel and live and be and act completely powerlessly when it comes to those things. And we literally give all our power away to the things that we believe have external power over us.
Right.
And the fact is, nothing external has any power over us unless it's the power that we've given it. And, you know, I see this so much particularly in the world that we're living in today.
Yeah.
If you think about politics, it's a collective.
Mm-hmm.
We literally consented via consensus to elect representatives of ourselves and our collective will to serve on our behalf, to make sure that that collective will is actually executed. So why are we keeping them in power if they're not doing that?
I know.
Because they don't inherently have any power of their own. We keep giving it to them. But if we're going to sit and believe that they have power over us, they quote, rule over us, then we're going to feel subjected to this rule from the external. But that's not how it's meant to be at all. We made the choices collectively via consensus as our servants. And so that's why I get really mad about this game of separation that gets played to keep us focused on fear and being afraid of our perceived differences with one another to such an extent that we don't realize, but hang on, if we don't work together to reach a new consensus, we're going to keep giving our power away to people who aren't in any way, shape, or form delivering on our will. And that's why I think fear is used so much, because we have no volition. We're literally frozen in place via this fear.
Yes.
And believing that these external things have all this power over us, when it's our power all along. We just keep giving it to whatever that external structure or thing is.
And we don't even know it. You know, it was introduced to me in such a way regarding health, right? And of course, much of my focus is on holistic health. So when somebody introduced to me that I was giving my power away, I was like, what? What?
Wow.
What do you mean? How am I doing that? And please help me understand how to not do that anymore. Because we don't even realize that that's exactly what we're doing. It's not a conscious choice we would make. Nobody would intentionally give away their power knowingly. So I'm hoping that this really helps people take pause and think, wait a minute, am I giving my power away somehow? And the truth is that I think when we start looking, we see a lot of ways that we're giving away our power in a lot of different areas of our life, and internally, a lot of ways internally that we realize we're letting a lot of things take place without our consent, without our even knowing that that's what we're doing. And it's been one of the, I think, probably one of the greatest aha moments for me is when I was introduced to this concept of, hey, you have the power here and it's slipping right through your fingers. Do you want to keep doing that? So when we start to take that responsibility back, when we start to develop that awareness, and then we start to take that responsibility back, I think that's really the only place that we can start, not just to change our own results within our bodies, but our own results within our relationships and within our work. And then it extends outward, right? It extends into our communities and into our world and beyond. That it all starts with right here inside, right now, remembering, getting in touch with that again, taking that responsibility back, remembering we are in charge of that keyboard or that computer program, or, you know.
Because we are the sovereign, right? Think of what a sovereign is. It literally means the ruler, the king or the queen. They are sovereign, and the crown is on their head. Well, our head is our crown, and
Yeah.
we are the sovereign over the universe that is our personal physical body. And there are so many voices now, including yours and mine, working towards people coming to a realization of that. That your cells are literally waiting for your instruction because they're obedient. They're waiting for your command. They're waiting to be told what to do. They have an innate intelligence and they will do what they are innately intelligent enough to do. But if you will instruct them specifically about the better kind of results that you desire, what exactly you want them to do, that innate intelligence will listen and obey because you are the operant power. You have that command. And the universe outside of your physical body is no different either. No different either. We can command our energy field and its content, what it's bringing to us through the quantum in terms of our circumstances and our personal lives as well. So yes, absolutely. And you know, Lori, Aquarius is all about collaboration energies. This new age that we've moved into. There's no more ideas of separation and division and competition. The energies are cooperative, they're collaborative. They're about recognizing the ways in which we want the same things and how we can work together more successfully to achieve that. So the old paradigm of a winner and a loser and of competition it's dead in the waters of Aquarius. It's dead in the waters. It's time for us to begin collaborating. And the first and most important collaboration is with our own body, with our own cells, and literally giving our body the consent it requires to achieve our desires for us and to give it the instruction set of what it is that we want. And then do the same with the quantum field. And then we are being sovereign. And when we are in our sovereignty, we're in our I am.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Nothing that needs to follow it, just the I am. And that's where our power lies.
And I have heard the term so many times, self-mastery. And to me, that's really what comes to mind is when you learn, when maybe when you remember that this is actually a thing. This is actually yours. This is something that you have inherently already possess. And you do start to practice using that. And like anything else, it takes a minute to remember and to reconnect and to relearn that. But when you dedicate that time to yourself to practice, and I'm preaching to the choir here. When you take that time to practice that act of remembering and that act of self-mastery, you really quickly start to see changes. And it's, to me, it's, I know the word miracle is overused, but it is somewhat miraculous to see it unfold in your life. And you see it right before your eyes, and you're like, that wasn't even hard.
Exactly,
It's
exactly,
not
yes.
even
And you know,
hard.
an interesting facet that I can bring up in this regard as well is regarding our generation,
Yeah.
Gen X,
Yeah.
all us babies who were born in the 70s and the 80s. This is a particular thing for us because the planetary ruling energy body over I amness, its position for Gen X over literally that whole 20-year period was in wounding in the I am.
Oh, interesting.
So the whole of Gen X generally was raised believing that we can't just be who we know ourselves to be. You can do this, you can't do that. I am an artist. No, you're not. You're going to college. We were
Yeah.
wounded primarily in our I amness. And for most of us, it's taken until the age of about 45, some of us 50, to come to realize that no, I get to be me. And that is why authenticity is such a huge, huge theme of healing at the moment and the seat of so much personal power. Because that is what we are healing. We are healing that core wound that we came into incarnation with via Chiron in the I amness and the wounded I amness. And that somehow we weren't able to be that which I am. So Gen X did a lot of absolutely incredible things in terms of changing the world. But when it comes to where we all carry a subconscious wound and therefore unconsciously give our power away, so much of it is seated in the I am. And that is why coming to grips with your sovereignty is so crucial to actually creating the life that you want.
I agree. It's really crucial. And I can certainly relate to everything in my environment telling me no. I wanted to do this and I was told no. I wanted to do this and I was told no. And in my own experience, a lot of it had to do with the fact that I had trauma when I was young. So I had a little bit of a stumbling block really understanding who I was anyway. And
Yeah.
at that time, did we ever really talk about nurturing our children to let them explore their environment and
No,
naturally?
we were latchkey kids, Lori. We
Yeah.
were latchkey kids. We walked
Yeah.
ourselves home from school. We had to
Yeah.
make our own lunch. We had to do homework by ourselves and stay out of trouble. And, our parents were not the fuss over you generation. They really, really
No.
weren't.
Come home when it's
Yeah.
dark.
But that's had its benefits too.
Yeah.
That wasn't just a downside. I mean, we're also capable and for the most part truly independent.
Yeah.
And I think as a result, we attempted as best we could to
Sure.
do a better job for the next generation.
Yeah.
And even though every generation blames the one before and everyone's got strings of criticisms about what was done wrong, I think we are looking, at least in potential, at a much, much better world because of the progress we have made in actually understanding who we are, our power, and our sovereignty, and our
And
ability to literally be that operator.
yeah. And when we do step into that, it does have a ripple effect. I think a lot of people don't understand that when you change, it is important for everyone. We go back to that collective again, right? So your change does matter to everyone. And it does create a momentum on a broad level. So when we rise up, we're all rising up, because when you talk about separation and division and there is none, that's exactly what that means. When you rise up, we all rise up, and it all matters to start to move into that world that we do want, into the environments that we do want. and, you know, even the political arenas that we do want, that do work for us, not against us, and for the greater good. And things can start to happen just more beautifully. And when there are enough people, when that is stretched far and wide, it does become easier and easier and easier, in my opinion. It becomes easier and easier and easier for all of us to run.
It's more accessible, yes. And the other thing is too, if we have sufficiently practiced our own sovereignty for ourselves, and we are used to taking that authority, you know, actually using our responsibility and our ability to be able to affect things for ourselves, then it's not much of a stretch to start taking authority over other things, especially unacceptable things, external things, things that have always been perceived as powerful. When we're truly standing in our own authority, then we can take really, really strong authority over circumstances, conditions that are unacceptable. And I think that is when we are truly living in the power of our light, is when we have so embodied that inner I am, my inner sovereign, and we've exercised our will, and we're so accustomed to doing that. That's when we can put on the brakes for external things and go, oh, no, 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 no. And it actually freezes in place because I know actually carries some weight behind it. It's not just like, oh, okay, but I'll crumble at the first little resistance.
I can relate to that. Absolutely. I think a lot of people can. Is it, especially for women, it can be challenging to have that really strong, firm authority from within and just simply say no.
Yeah. Yeah. No, thank you. No, thank you.
Any final thoughts?
We can trust it.
Yes.
We can trust our sovereignty. It's not going to be a weak ruler 3 days out of the week. That power is consistent and it's always available. The only thing that's wishy-washy is our potential connection to it. But if we will foster that connection and hold it in our core, we can trust it. It'll never let us down.
Thank you for connecting with Light for Life. If you appreciate reminders, please go ahead and subscribe to the channel so you can receive those notifications. If you would like to work with one of us, you can find our contact information in the About section of this channel.
Yes, thank you for connecting with Light for Life. Please share your insights, your questions, and your comments with us in the comment section below. We value your feedback. And we really hope that we will see you for our next episode. We upload one every Thursday. Until then, bye-bye and be joyful.
Until we connect again, we send you love and light.